All right, welcome back to Chicken and Chips with Connor and
Colby.
This video is sponsored by Don Julio, Mexican style yellow corn tortilla chips and chicken. Today we have an interesting topic at hand. The topic today is how can the NFL prevent future concussions for the NFL players? We've recently seen in, I believe, January, the big hit of Damar Hamlin in the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals game that put him into cardiac arrest. And we have seen in the 2022-2023 NFL season a massive increase of concussions in NFL players. Mm-hmm. So the question today is, how can the NFL prevent future player concussions? So we have Colby as a guest today. Introduce yourself, Colby.
Name's Colby.
All right. So, Colby, have you ever had any experiences with concussions or any head injuries or neck injuries?
Yeah, I've had 3 concussions. One of them was pretty bad. I was slurring speech and I couldn't form sentences, so that one was pretty scary. I was out for about 2 months. That one wasn't fun. I was throwing up a lot. I was super dizzy. I couldn't look at light. They're not fun. We don't like concussions.
No, they're not fun. They're not fun. So, how did you receive that concussion?
It's in my sport. I got picked up and dropped on my head, and they didn't think that I had a concussion, so I continued to play, and then I got hit again, which made it worse, causing me to slur speech and everything else to come.
So let's talk about that. You continued playing, and the coach knew that you had a concussion?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that he knew, but we didn't test to see.
Yeah.
So,
do you think it would have been smart to test?
100%.
Okay. So that is one of the key points that we can mention.
Yeah.
Is better education for the players and the coaches in that sense.
Sure.
But Colby, what is your opinion? In your opinion, how do you think the NFL can better prevent player concussions?
Well, and I think that's exactly like the question explains it perfectly, because a lot of people are out there thinking that you're going to completely stop and get rid of concussions, but with a head-on contact sport, that's just not possible. So preventing is the best way to go. One super cool thing that I found is the Q collar. And what it does
is that?
It's essentially this. It's like a dog collar that you wear that puts pressure on your 2 jugular veins right here, causing more increased blood flow to your brain. So it's essentially putting a thin layer of blood in between your brain and your skull, so there's less movement in between the 2.
Oh, wow.
So when you hit, your brain doesn't have much room to go and hit your skull, causing the concussion. It hits that blood that acts like a little pillow and prevents it.
This is Q collar?
This is Q collar, yeah.
And it pushes on your arteries here?
Your jugular veins right here in your neck. And it pushes,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it pushes more blood to your head. It's crazy.
I can't even imagine that. How do people even come up with that?
People are smart.
People are smart nowadays.
Yeah.
So you're proposing that the NFL maybe partners with this Q collar company.
Yes.
Helping them put them on the players, especially where you think in the NFL where the most concussions happens. Like which players or which positions in the NFL do you think receive probably the most concussions?
Well, it would probably be your linemen or like your linebackers that are constantly just bashing heads with each other. So I think if NFL partnered with Q collar, every player in the NFL for their own safety should be required to wear one. And because you're always going to get bigger and better helmets, right? Every single year they come out with new models of helmets with a different kind of foam in there that's supposed to completely eliminate concussions. That just doesn't happen. So I think if you have the Q collar and continue to come out with these helmets, renovating the helmets, that's probably your best bet to further prevent serious concussions.
So you heard it here first on Chips and Chicken. To better prevent concussions in the NFL at such a high level, focus on where the high contact injuries are at. Partner with the Q collar so it'll create blood flow in the head a little bit better. And third, like Colby's own experience, better educate the players and the coaches and better test for concussions so that there's not a higher risk. What do you say?
I like it.
Thank you for joining us today
Thank you for having
on
me.
Chips and Chicken, sponsored by Don Julio Mexican Style, yellow corn, tortilla chips, and chicken.
And lemon pepper.